Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Sabah Rahim here, Master of the Covenant. Again, brothers and sisters. They say that brothers and sisters. I'll have some few technical issues here again. For today, brothers and sisters. So many technical issues. Thought I was going to get on, but I think I've made it so far. Okay. Um, you know, they always say that nobody calls a Farrakhan a liar. Well, they know it's a lie because they're aware of me. I'm calling a lie for years. It's been challenged to $5,000 in a lie. If they can prove that that stuff they're saying is true. They want a challenge, I give them a challenge. That's my mission, take them out. So there it is, $5,000. Right? If he can prove that what he's teaching it is consistent, Elijah Muhammad's teachings and the Master Muhammad's teachings, and Elijah Muhammad's representation of it. They can't find one verse in Scripture anywhere supports that stuff Farrakhan's talking about. That support he's being anointed, Messiah, and all that stuff. Not even honorable, to tell you the truth. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. I'm gonna have to. It's gonna be a short version because I spent 4 hours just, putting out fires. They're trying to give me a stroke, brothers and sisters. They figure, well, if I frustrate him enough, he get a stroke. Well, hasn't worked yet. Me. Can't blame for trying. So on, brothers and sisters. I'm gonna go to a special. I've talked this in the past. I think it's a good idea to talk about it again. Because for those of you that have eyes to see, I'm gonna give you a clear vision, clear insight. But again, what's going on, brothers and sisters here? They're doing some work where I live at, so oh, so let them in there. They have to get in. Mm-hmm. It figures. Give me 1 minute, brothers and sisters, after let them in. Distractions. So it said that Mr. Covenant, the Lone Ranger. I'm not going to read this, brothers and sisters, because I cut to the chase here. Let's see.
3. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample. Three. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. 5. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold, therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury, it upheld me. 6. And I will tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth.
Okay, the second thought is best, because you can look at this up and see this is the spirit of the Messiah. And you read, well, Jeremiah, is like you get the spirit of Messiah. See? But now Mr. Farrakhan claims Messiah, but I don't want to see Babylon destroyed. I want to stay here. How can we make Babylon great again? See, it's easy to expose him. So those who are with him, they're with him because they're demons, right? And a lot of demons are agents anyway. That's another story I want to talk about later, right? Or they just fools because they're with him on an emotional basis. They're not with him on intellect. They're not with him because of truth. We're not talking about truth, we're talking about scriptural truth. That's what we're talking about, scriptural truth. And they're not him because they can't find any truth in there that backs up him. Because that gives you the spirit. And everywhere you read, he wants to destroy America. And he wants to destroy Babylon. They claim this is Babylon. He wants to destroy it. He wants to crush to the ground. He wants to crush all the people. He wants to burn it up. I mean, that's all you keep saying. It's like, and he say, I can't wait to do it. So I'm in distress to, it's like someone hold me back. But Farrakhan, I love it. I don't want to see nothing happen to Babylon. I love Babylon. How can we make Babylon good again? How can we make Babylon great again? See? So the people with him, they can't find any scripture that backs up him. Oh, he's this. They can't find it. It's not there. I give $5,000. It should be just one verse that supports all that crap he's talking about. Just one verse. They can't. So either they're demons or they're over there strictly on emotional. Oh, he's so cute. You know how Ishmael describes it. Oh, look how cute he is. Look how handsome he is. All this stuff. I mean, were they sleeping together? Sick. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. I said I got distracted 4 or 5 hours, brothers and sisters, so I have to keep this. Those days, a lot of days I have like that. I don't even go into it. The stuff that be happening. It's unbelievable. If I didn't have a IT background, I'd be lost. So I had my own IT business for years, for 20-some years or whatever. Right? Well, writing code, writing systems design, all that kind of stuff. Doing contracting work, had my own business. I'd be lost, bro, sisters. Because, oof. They come in me all kind of way, and I'll think them, which is really not that hard to do. And do you think you're the God who is not before you like a field of the past way? I'm not going there, but it says it's going to be to go from here into the garden. That means if you read this carefully, it means we're not in the garden, but we want to get there. So that means we want to get the hell out of here. That by itself tells you we need to leave here. But it said to get from here to there, you got to go to a lot of hell. And who's the one going to impose this hell upon you? There ain't no mystery being. It's the people that's got you in hell trying to hold you there. Come on, brothers and sisters. Gotta learn to read this stuff, but you gotta understand mathematical background. And this just tells you, this is Allah speaking. He said you gotta believe the Bible and the Quran. So if you say yes, we don't have a problem with the Bible, they call Allah a liar. Let's move on. Okay, these are the ones that believe part of the book and disbelieve the other. So the grievous just time for them. But I'm moving on quickly, but like I said, I had. Yeah.
Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement? And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Wadafuddin and I have had disagreement. But his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because in spite of our differences, there's a deep love in us. And it makes my heart sing with my brother here. And we work together for the common good of Islam and the common good of humanity. I believe. We don't like the things about our nation that is not good, but I don't want to live anywhere else. I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't she go that way? If the men of religion and the women, we don't like the things about our nation that is not, we don't like the things about our nation that is not good, but I don't
Bye, Negro. Go stick your head back up Farrakhan's ass. Sad. I always have to take a break with this, bro, because it's just too much. It's too much. I was with Elijah, 775. He would cut their throat if he heard this garbage.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flagler as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is, you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
Yes, sir.
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity. So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so. And Mustafa may be 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you. Go ahead.
One more time, brother.
I'm going to briefly talk this eugenics. This is a very popular program, so I'm really cutting it short today, but I had a lot of technical issues, so I was planning to do a couple of hours. I'll be lucky if I do half an hour. I still got some issues going on now. At any rate, this eugenic program is a program. The idea of what was to get rid of us back in the early 20s, 1920s. It was a big thing. And you go check it out. They cleaned up here. There's statements here cleaned up because you can tell they're talking about, in that day sense. But back there, it was open. There was they were sterilizing black women. They go in if they got pregnant, right? And they went and delivered a baby. They would tie their tubes and didn't tell them. Then they finally couldn't have babies anymore. They were doing stuff like that. They said the white race was the pure race, and they had to get rid of everybody else, especially us. That's where Margaret Singer, she came. She was eugenics. Eugenics is based on Eugenes, right? DNA, and she came out of the movement. Remember, she was with the Ku Klux Klan and everything, and that was a big thing back there. And when somebody interviewed Hitler, because remember his eugenics program was directed specifically. I mean, he said he was the master race too, but he said he got it from America. His ideas. That's where it was. And the thing is I came out of that Tuskegee. See, that was an attempt to make men sterile, because they was giving them syphilis and not letting them know that they had it. They was doing research, checking them, because that was another way. They was trying to figure out some kind of medical way just to eradicate us. So that's something you can check out. Most blacks don't know anything about this. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Okay. Now, what I'm going to try to do here, I'm going to try to give you an idea of the climate where we are right now. Because everybody keeps saying, why are they doing this and why are they doing that? They can't understand how the world's going. Well, you understand those because things move too fast. Their brain cannot, as the lesson tell you, their brain is limited. They try to tell you brain is infinite. Well, okay. And they can't think as fast as time moving. See, the universe is constantly moving all the time. It's opening and closing. And the process right now is a process of expanding. Contracting, right? And so it's changing. That's why it gets new scriptures all the time to keep up with it. And if you keep up with it, you keep on. If you can't, that means you fall back. You destroy it. That's what scriptures are. For those who keep up with the constant changing. Right? It's always a change. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stand still. Right? So the thing is that you had the ability to keep up with the changes. And they were made right in a pros. They was created in low pressure environment, and so the universe is contracting now. So that means the pressure increasing, and so they thought cannot handle the changing pressure. That's why it's so confused now. And if you understand how pressure works, that's why they're so violent and they prone to war, which it's just gonna get hotter. Because like if we keep turning the heat up, right, it just gets hotter and hotter and hotter. So anyway, I need to talk. Maybe I'll get more into that later. But what I'm going to go right now is try to give you a feel for what's going on. See, the reason why that's the physical side of it, but just the intellectual side of it, they couldn't tell you the truth anyway because it exposed them. See? And the thing is that because when you start lying, you only confuse yourself too. Okay, you take the Sunnis, for instance, right? Now, the clear explanation of Adam, so Adam is Europeans, because it says, I'll make a rule on earth. They're the only ones ruling earth. Nobody's ruling, no other race is ruling this planet but them. That's clear explanation of that. That means the angels will be other people. But no, they have to say, no, the whole human race. That means then also the angels got to be mystery spirits and things. You see what I'm saying? So they confuse themselves now. Because when they say that, but they can't say that because they identify themselves as the jinn who will fight with them every step of the way. You see, that's why, they confuse themselves by hiding the truth. Because Adam are Europeans and angels are all other people who are serving them or in submission to them, which is the case. Then the ones that's fighting them all step of the way has to be a jinn. That would be the Sunni Arabs. They can't have that. So no, they can't come to that conclusion. Because that means they wouldn't be Muslims, would they? Because Muslim means one is total submission to the will of God. And they're not. So who would be Muslims? The ones, the angels that submit, the 100%. Who submitted 100%? We are. We're told submission to the devils. That's clear. That's a clear explanation of that. And you don't have to go out and beyond sun, moon, and stars, look under earth, right? Dig down in the moon to figure it out. It's clear. But if they didn't say that, they would say it again. Oh, see, so they confuse themselves by doing that. My second brother says, I still got some issues over here. So when you go out there lying, the consequence, part of the consequence is that confusion, self-confusion. You see? Like the devil, same thing. They can't admit that they Gog and Magog. Can't admit that. Okay? That's why chapter 20, enter what you call Revelations, they have to say that's the future. Because if you read it clearly, that's them. That's the Dark Ages. There was 1,000 Dark Ages. And they come out, Gog and Magog. Two world powers. Who's been two world powers? Only been two world powers that you know about. America and Britain. They Gog and Magog. So they can't tell you. See? And so who was keeping them but suppressed? That means Islam, Abraham's Islamic resurrected, because it says it was resurrected empire. Prophet Muhammad didn't create that. He resurrected it. What happened after he left, that's no story together, but he resurrected. That means it was the Islamic empire, Islam itself. You got, doesn't matter what they're doing with it, it's the spirit of Abraham that kept them bottled up. Islamic empire for 1,000 years. That would tell you that Islam, there's only one Islam. I mean, they got all this Sunni, all that. Like Elijah Muhammad said, there's one, mathematics. Islam is mathematics, mathematics Islam. I won't go too much detail here, brothers and sisters, but see, I'm just trying to get you to understand. When you're taking, because you confuse yourself, because everything, like I said, the angels all have to be spirit beings then. I mean, then you have to explain, well, how did the angels submit to us and we can't see them, we can't talk to them? See, it gets more confusing because you start asking questions. That's why they cut your head off over there. Oh, you're a shirk. You're not a believer. Believe in what? I just asked you, who the angels supposed to submit to us? How do I communicate with them? You see what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? And if chapter 20 is the future, you see, then how you explain all of that? I mean, oh, Jesus going to come, but he's going to leave, and then they're going to come in. I mean, it gets all confusing. But if you look at it, it's clear, right? Occam's razor, that's what I was, Occam's razor, I think it says it's a philosophical principle. Occam's razor, I think is where you say Occam's razor. Where if there's a question, the simplest answer is probably the right answer. You know, I'll look it up. That I'm pretty sure it's the simplest answer probably, but they get all these complicated. So everything, so Islam gets complicated. Everything is complicated because they can't say it was obvious because they exposed them, just like Farrakhan. Right? He missed his father. I got tape. He said his father was a white Portuguese Jew, his grandfather's father. That means his father was a white Portuguese Jew. That means he got to be the devil himself. He got to be occasion himself in blackface. But he can't say, well, no. See, you got to confuse people. Oh, it doesn't matter who your father and mother is because God made you in the womb. Okay, if that's the case, then is God a man? God's a man. He can't be, then, or he's in everybody's womb making babies. See, it doesn't make no goddamn sense. See, it's a lie. Everything gets all confusing. So he's in animals' babies, and he's making all the babies on the planet. I mean, my trauma is very busy, ain't he? But then when then God prays, the guy I'm saying God prays, well, who he praying to? You can't pray to him because he's flesh. Or so we praying to somebody that's not flesh. I got him. I want to play it. So they back and forth on that one. So what I'm trying to get to the point, I'm going to get to the main point here, brothers and sisters. I may do something, but I got to only cover the main point here. Now, we're in the center of this thing. So let me play it. Let me show a couple things here, set the tone. Dilemma and discipline. And see here, come, let's deal wisely with them. They say, multiply, it comes to pass that when they fall out of war, they join unto our enemies and fight against us and so get out of the land. That means, why would they leave the land if they've come to this land? That means some people that's in this land shouldn't be here, and who's got them here is an enemy to them, that's oppressing them, right? And they trying to get rid of them, but they don't do it in a way that they don't see it coming. There's a lot in there. See? It's a lot in there. See? Let's add this next piece and show how where the confusion comes on that one. They have said, come, let's wipe them out as a nation, so the name of Israel be no more remembered. So now you say, oh, see, now they got you focused on Israel. But then who is Israel? Oh, that's them over there. So what if it ain't? What if it's you? The reason I got to have that one over there, so you don't see it. Remember, they're going to do so you don't see it coming. So they got to make you think it's someone else that this applies to, not you. Because if you know this applied to you, you might be on alert. That's why I said false Israel 11:48. We're going to talk about that in detail in a minute. See what I'm saying? They have to keep, but they're confusing themselves in the process. That's why I said dilemma and discipline. Because if you find that you Israel, then you have a whole different take. But if that's them, then you got doing your thing, right? And you don't see it coming. Because let's deal shrewdly with them. That means they don't see it coming. So they got to make you think to see if you who you are. The most effective way to destroy someone to deceive them into who they are. You understand that? So let's talk about a couple of things first of all. Now, there's mathematical principles that so you got to tell people study vectors, study physics, because that's what the universe is all about. Mathematics, physics. And you are the gods of mathematics, but they haven't allowed you to think for 400 years, and your muscles got atrophied. You're great. So, but you are the God. You the one who did all this. You had the capability to do it. It's like a man; he's born naturally stronger than a female. But if he don't do nothing, she going to the gym, she gonna whoop his ass. And she make first thing she would make if I was a female. And I got control. First thing I do is I pass a law. No man can go to the gym. No man can go lift weights or anything. I pass a law like that right away. Bam! Right? Because here's something. See, the proof is right in front of your face. Would you make a law saying you can't teach dogs to read? Would you make a law like that? Would you make a law that you can't teach? You can't say retarded anymore, right? Mentally challenged children can't read. Could you make a law like that? It would make no sense. So why did they make a law that we couldn't read? We couldn't learn to read. We couldn't see because they knew if we did, we'd be like the men who, hey, you can't go to the gym because they go to the gym. It's all over. There'd be no match with the males and the females and the men allowed to go to the gym. See, the stuff is right in front of your face, but we're missing it. That's why I keep schools, right, messed up and third-rate teachers in there. They teach you backwards. They teach you bad concepts. If you go out their schools, they got a whole different way of teaching you than in your schools. Because in your schools, they'll tell you the definition of insanity is someone who does the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So you say, hey, man, I try a couple times, man, it worked, man, hell with that. Swing your speed bump, you slow down. We do that. Swing your speed bump, we just, oh, man, must be the wrong direction. But what they teach their children, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Resonance. Keep on going, you're going to get through. Like this here. I started doing 35 years. I gave my business everything. Like I said, I was living in a mini mansion, plenty of dough. I'm doing all right now. Right? I ain't throwing money away. Family turned on everybody. I keep on going. Keep on. Frame freaks, everything. Because that's what it takes to break through. That's why it started War of Jericho. You understand? So they got to. That's why I said a man, they took his mind away. Right? So keep that in mind. So look at this concept. See, discipline times energy equals power. Or it's just energy, but you put this as discipline to it, it turns into power. The more discipline, the more power. Right? So I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna jump ahead. Like I said, I'm not going into detail. I was planning on really spend a couple of hours on this process. I'm gonna get highlights. Hopefully tomorrow, if things okay, right? Maybe I'll just go over it again. Okay, because of energy deprivation. Remember, some of the stuff is all the energies out there in the universe. You see all the stars. That's a lot of energy. But it used to be here. The Quran tells you that. So that means how much energy we have when it was all here. Damn. But now it's out there. It means less energy here, less energy for the earth. The earth start cooling down, start getting deserts, start getting polar caps and all that kind of stuff. Right? We low and low energy. We have less energy because taking energy to everything. Everything you do requires energy, period. So we have less. So after a while, we got to the point we couldn't even control ourselves. So we made a being that didn't need that much energy. That's Yakut's people. So they could rule, be bad rule, but bad was better than no water. You get the point, right? But anyway, I want to get a basic idea. But let's move forward. Okay, so they ruling. Now the universe is contracting, so now we're starting to get more energy. So we're gonna be ruling in a few more days, right? At least we're going to war in a few more days, right? But they're gonna trigger it. But we're gonna be at war in a few more days. But they're gonna trigger it. It's time for us to rise and take back everything's been taken from us. But the bottom line is that they're ruling. Right? Now they were told all our names. Remember, say Adam was told. They said they know all about us, and they had a chance to study for 400 years. They were studying. All we had to do was pick cotton. We couldn't. If you thought you say anything other than yes, boys, no boys, yes, boy, then that was your ass. But just go back a little further and see, the thing is that go back to 2,000 years ago. Now you had the Roman Empire. And then that's when it's supposed to be, there was no Jesus. We can prove it. But the Quran calls him Isa ibn Miriam or Isa ibn Yusuf. Ibn means son of. Okay. So let's go Isa ibn Miriam, right? We came and gave the scripture. Presented it. Okay, after he left the Catholic Church, came out of it. So every time these prophets come with something, then some fool comes behind and just messes it all up. Just like Farrakhan, he ain't teaching like Mama's teachings. You get $5,000, you can prove he does. They come in, anyway, they got hold of the Catholic Church, except the Pope and everything else. But what they did is they disregarded. See, you got the so-called Old Testament and New, but they're all sealed. They're sealed books. But like the Old Testament's the law. And the New Testament's like ethics. But they try to separate the two. They say, we don't need the law no more. We don't need the law no more. See, just believe in Jesus. That was the attitude of the Catholic Church. You just go and confess, and you go out and kill somebody, you just come and confess to the priest, preach your marriage, whatever. So the Roman Empire collapsed. Because the discipline they had, they just believe that thing about just no discipline. That's not Christianity. Catholicism is not Christianity. People get that mixed up. Because like the Colette said, Christianity started 500 years ago. We're talking about the Protestant movement. Catholicism is Catholicism. That's a name. Christianity is a name. Catholicism, right? And they broke away from Catholicism and started the Protestant, but Protestant means protest. It was the English, European, the English, Britain, they broke, they first one to break away. Started the Protestant movement. I think it was Lutherans or something like that. Yeah, Martin Luther. Anyway, that's where Martin Luther got his name from. Anyway, so it fell because no discipline. It just collapsed. So if you understand Genesis, the greater light, lesser light, He said 5 years after another scripture be revealed. And that's the Quran. It tells you right in Genesis, but I know that you have to understand sealed Bible, understand that stuff, right? Those that study sealed Bible don't talk about it. It tells you right in there. Be a lesser light and a greater light. It'll be 500 years apart. Okay. So then, see, now remember all of us, the Arabs, they were black feet back at that time. Now they are half brothers by Abraham, but we get the promise and they didn't because we actually the seed of Sarah and Abraham, and they just seed of Abraham. Right, that's another story together. But anyway, Isaac, we're supposed to get the inheritance. Ishmael stole it from us. That's another story. But the bottom line is, and Prophet Muhammad's black too. We can prove it, but that's another story. But the thing is that they were in an undisciplined mode because they had descended. They had seeded. See, Prophet Muhammad didn't build a Kaaba. He didn't build he didn't build Mecca. He didn't build any of that stuff. He didn't build, all that stuff was there. It's just they had descended into undisciplined idolatry and everything else. They was undisciplined. Right? But now remember, the devils, they got more energy in them because they have less complicated. I don't want to get too complicated here, bro. It's just, it would be nice if you know in the background, then when I'm getting ready to say it, make more sense to you. So but see, when they was following their idea of the Bible, no discipline, just believe in Jesus. Prophet Muhammad came in with discipline. Quran is all about discipline. Just boom, right away, explosion. They took over all the area, broke into Europe. You had the Moors. They took over Spain because their power. They turned that power on. See, because all that discipline that was in Islam that Prophet Muhammad gave them. And so for 1,000 years, they kept the devils bottled up. Chapter 20 kept bottled up. But they said it was a resurrected. And they said that Christ, see, that's bad translation again. It's the Messiah. The Christ is nowhere in the manuscripts. That's something they put there and move on. So that's how they kept, right? And then what happened? See, if you go to history, you see the pattern here. And then when they broke away from the church, the British broke away from the church, right? And started Protestant movement. They went Old Testament on them. Old Testament on them. Back to the law. Boom, all of a sudden, bam. Powerful. Became a world power and was able to defeat the Arabs. And say God would come loose and nobody be able to defeat him but God himself. That's what happened. They went old school, got back to discipline because they have more access to energy because they have a lower structure. They have more power. And Sunnism was not having able to defeat them in 500 years. But they're fighting them every step of the way. The jinn, I ain't gonna submit to you. They didn't submit. They fought them every step of the way. They're the jinn. They said, we're gonna keep doing it the old way. But we was in total submission over here. See, you understand what I'm saying? So that discipline. But now their discipline is dropping again. But so is the discipline of the Arabs over here too. They tell me they got casinos and stuff where they got all kinds of stuff going on there. I don't know. I'm just saying that's what they say. I can't do anything. Me says. Right? But what did Elijah come with? Master Prophet come with? Discipline. And that's what they saw that with Elijah. Oh man. They can't have discipline because our people don't have any discipline. You know, they got a little bit from Marcus Garvey and everything else. But remember, Master Muhammad was around during that time too. But Elijah Muhammad, all of a sudden, they saw the nation start rising. Uh-oh. Right? And discipline and a vision. See, discipline is one thing, but you need a vision also. And that's the thing. The Romans didn't have a vision. They had this discipline. They had a vision. But the Catholics, they had a vision, but no discipline. But the Protestants, they had vision and discipline. They saying, well, you know, we just, you know, we were Jesus, and And then we're going to keep all this stuff, right? But see, remember, now during this time, them and the Jews were in total conflict, hating each other over the Jesus Christ thing, hating each other. Right? Hating each other. And this kept on going. They kept on until about in the 1930s. What I did, they found solution, going to get rid of them. Total. Remember, they was more old school. So they was always dominating the European countries because they was applying discipline. And Europeans didn't like it. See? You see the discipline aspect in there? Because they was old school. They wasn't going at Catholic stuff. We're going to stick with discipline. You know, they really not Jews to begin with. But anyway, they were still it doesn't matter, applying discipline. So then, remember, they had each other's trouble. So they got to the point where they was going to destroy them. They was almost annihilated them. Right? Elijah Muhammad's on the scene teaching discipline to our people. People come together, united with a vision. They said, well, they said, well, how are we going to do this? Remember, do it shrewdly. Okay, take their vision away. How do you do that? Lost Israel. Boop. Put them up. Set them up in 1948. Also, remember, they was killing they hated each other for 2,000 years. And it was at the point where they wiped them out. Even in World War II. If the truth about it is, because I was in the military, I was over in Germany, all the places they knew that they had those concentration camps that killed them, the Allies knew where they were, and they didn't bomb none of them. And the most famous preacher here during that time, not Bill Graham, it was another, I can't think what his name was. They was all on Hitler's side against the Jews. He was the most popular one here. And you go, don't take my word. Don't take my word for anything. Just go check it out yourself. Henry Ford, right? Henry Ford, he was the one that helped them set up their industry over there. Because he was an industrial magnate over here. These are facts. See? But then, all of a sudden, things change. And it had something to do with it. Britain also had something to do with us. But afterwards, they all stopped. Oh, man. We can't get rid of them now because we need them. We got to put that false vision up. You see, they home, they back there like the Bible and everything else. Destroy that vision for the rest of our people. See? Because Elijah Muhammad's growing. Got to put a stop to that. No. Don't believe him. See, they the real. Because if we get that, that'll make us come together. And then discipline make us warriors. That's why he set it up. Because all of a sudden they was loving each other, kissing each other's ass. They understand that. Now, Jews, they know this. They know these people hate them. They know the only reason they did it because they put them up because they need them. He said, oh, stop, we need you. So now they make nice because they need them to counter us. Because that's what they've been looking for. They know at the end. They knew the scriptures like Herod. He knew that Jesus was going to be born. Right? They killed all the male children. They knew this time was coming. They couldn't identify it. They knew this Joshua was coming. That's why that story about Jesus, they changed the name and everything. Maybe I'll get to that today. The bottom line is that's what happened here. They kill our vision. Our people still being scattered. You understand what I'm saying? And the Jews know this. They know that the only reason they're there, these people still hate them. They need them. Keep us down until they can figure out how to get rid of us. Because remember, they're planning. Let us wipe them out as a nation. They try to tell me that's the Muslims trying to wipe out the Arabs. Okay. They confuse themselves. Understand that. Okay. So you understand that we're the target. They're the deception. And you got planners. Those are planners. Also, there's deception, and we're the target. If you understand that, then everything falls into place. And they know, because remember they had the spies, they had the Pollard guy, the guy with American Secret and everything. They know exactly what's going on. They know that They only helping them to keep us to figure out who we are. They figure a way to get rid of us. Understand that? Because of Elijah. So they got to get Elijah out of the picture. They got to always destroy our vision, be permanent until they get rid of us. Right? And to get rid of us, okay. But any false Israel, to keep that from happening, maintain that situation. So you understand that? That means they got to back false Israel under all circumstances. And false Israel knows that. The false Israel knows that, right? They know that once they don't need them anymore, then they're going to be the target. Because they only like two brothers. They fighting each other constantly. And then neighbor moves in, right? It's causing trouble. Okay, well, now they brothers again. We can take care of the neighbor. Once the neighbor's gone, they back at it again. You understand? They know that. So what's their plan? They said, well, we got to do something before they get rid of them. Because they plan to get rid of them. We can't stop them getting rid of them. Because we wouldn't run anyway because they want to get rid of us too. Both of them want to get rid of us. We stole their identity. The other one need us to maintain that lie. So when you understand that picture, then you understand what's going on right now. Because false Israel knows they fighting against time. Because they know they got to insulate themselves, protect themselves from being, because once they get rid of us, they're going to get rid of them too. Get rid of us first. It's like, there was a story, what's that guy, Gene Hackman played this part, where he was a general back in Indian Wars days, right? They was trying to track down Geronimo. And so they couldn't find him because he knew the country and everything else. So they got this other Indian tribe that, to help them get Geronimo. So it took a while. Then they kept on, they knew how to track and they knew all the stuff in the neighborhood. So they finally, cornered him, got him, captured him. They put him on a train down to Florida somewhere, some prison. And when they got him in the fort, right, just ready to transfer him down there, right, all the Indian tribe that helped him get him, they lined them all up. They read a letter to him, says, the president congratulates you or whatever for your service. Right. We appreciate it. Thank you. Took all their weapons from him. They put him in the same prison they put in Geronimo. Same thing Simon was saying, right? They used him to go after Iran. When they used no more, they hung his ass. That's their pattern. And the Jews know this. They're only using us as a means to an end. Using them as a means to an end. So what would they do? Okay. They need to have weapons to protect themselves, nuclear bombs, which they tried to prevent him from getting it. Remember, Kennedy tried to prevent him from getting it, so he kept doing his head off. And they need to have a means of controlling wealth, resources. A better way to take over the Middle East. If they can get control of the Middle East, all that oil wealth, and they got nuclear weapons where they can protect themselves, they got the Europeans by the balls then, don't they? They got their protection, plus they got them on their knees now, because especially Europe, they need that oil. You understand? And so now they know this. They're fighting against time. It says they have no, how long it's going to take before they actually take us. So the fact is, they're on high speed right now. Why? Because they know they're getting ready to get rid of us. They're on high speed. We got to do this. We got to take, and they got to take over the Middle East. Because we can control the Middle East, go all well, and we got nuclear weapons, then the Christians can't fuck with us no more. And we got them. And if you understand that, the whole picture comes in, everything falls into place. Because everybody's saying, why are they doing, why is it? Because in America, they see, and we got you, America has to help us. They can't stop us, and they can't get rid of us, because they need us, right? So We do whatever we want to do, and they got to help us. They got to help. That's why America keep helping. We ain't getting no benefit out of it. America's not getting any benefit out of it because they got to keep, and they know, hey, whatever we do, they got to back us because they can't afford to let us fail. Because we fail, the whole game is up. You get it now, brothers and sisters. You get the point. You understand what's happening? That's the dilemma. Now, if you look at it from that point of view, everything falls into place. From that point of view, everything falls into place. It's simple if you look at it from that point of view. We're the target. They're used to keep us blind to who we are. But they don't want them to hate them too. So they got to protect, they know they hate them, they got to protect themselves from when they get rid of us. So they can protect it. And that's what's going on right now. But if you look at it from that point of view, everything falls into place. And it also gives you time to tell you, because they're in a rush, that means they're planning to take us out. It's very close. They're in a rush over there. And they're reckless. They're like they're desperate. Why? Because they know time is running out. And they got to get control. The only way they can get control, America's got to help them, but America has to help because they can't afford to let them fail. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters, on that one. Hope you understand. I'll go more detail, but that should be enough. As far as us, they got to reinforce the, right? Keep us confused and diverted while they're in process, so we don't see what's going on. That's what Farrakhan's there for. Oh, I love America. I want to stay here. Devils ain't devils anymore. We love America. And so forth, so on. Because the scriptures tell you, the scriptures scream out, he ain't no damn good. Said the one came after Elijah was no damn good. Aaron was no damn good. He died. How he call himself a Messiah? He died in the wilderness. Aaron knows get to the promised land. Then you go to Malachi, you got somebody that's robbed the nation, cursed with a curse. Now tell me, any man on this planet will tell you, if you, at 55 years old, you reduce the shit and the piss in the bag, and whatever little manhood you guys going, that's not a curse? That's not a curse? So he's protected, and he's anointed, and he said nothing happened without God's will, then God will his dumb ass to be castrated. You can't have it both ways, either God will or not. He said nothing happened without God's will. Okay? And that's what as soon as, remember, they got told that, see how that's one dumb shit leads to another dumb shit. Oh, Adam is the human race. So one dumb thing and another thing, so, and then, well, nothing happens without God's will. Well, how you, if that's the case, then every time they shoot cruise missile up your ass, you say, all praise but love, right? Right? That was God's will. And you being caught, you supposed to be told to miss God's will. So they couldn't put a missile up your ass unless it was God's will. You see how dumb shit as far as, because when you start to confuse yourself, telling lies, the confusion gets so bad, it's impossible to come out of it. Okay? Then happens out God's will. And when the Satan was, everything is so bad, well, then you should be happy. It's God's will. Well, brothers and sisters. So I'm going to really get into that. But like I said, I had so many issues today. But if you understand that basic idea, brothers and sisters, that's what's going on. Then you understand what's going on in the world today. There's more details, but I'm just giving you a general picture. General picture. Because everybody can't understand what's going on. Aside from the fact that things happen too fast, they can't keep up with it. If you drive down the highway, 70 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, right? And you can barely see, or you suddenly go blind. Man, you know how that's going to be. Because everything's moving too fast. You can't keep up with it. Or maybe you're nearsighted. So time is moving faster. And they saying that stuff. If things happen so quick, they can keep up with it. But you can't. The problem is you don't know it. You got to get your mind back. Let's sit down. Got my cinema closed. I really have a lot I want to talk about, but I'm going to shorten to that because there's so many things happen. Okay. See here? Now somebody dilemma and discipline. This is a dilemma. Okay? They fell into lack of discipline about the Catholic Church, so they fell. Muhammad came with Islam. That his form of Islam was discipline, fasting, prayer, Ramadan, right? Discipline, right? And that was overcome Europeans until they went old school 500 years later. I mean, 1,000 years later, right? But they was hating. They was hating on, right, on the Jews in the Holocaust, right? And then, oops, mistake, brothers and sisters. I guess you can see now, brothers and sisters. I check that out. Hold on. Totally wrong. Okay. Okay. So this went on for over 2,000 years, and then the Holocaust, in the 30s, were about to get rid of them because they hate each other. Christians hate the Jews. Period. Back during the Moors controlled Spain for about 700 years, they used to run to Spain to get the protection of the Moors. Moors were blacks that was Muslim from Morocco. They call it the Golden Age because that's their protection because the Europeans was killing them, wiping them. I mean, they hated them. And then all of a sudden, right? In fact, I didn't do that right either. Okay. Better get home before I totally see now here. Oops. No. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do. I should make fun like that because I can tease my wife like that, right? I'm sorry. I pretend I got the whole side. I don't remember. Would you stop doing that? Maybe I should. Okay. Let's see if I got it right this time. Okay, so they hate each other, right? And then 1948. Now they're fighting each other, right? Now they're independent, got their own place. Well, it's signed, right? It was given also that they see Abraham trying to neutralize what Elijah Muhammad was doing, right? Okay, and then what? And now the war started because everybody says that if Iran had went up another week or two, all this would have been gone. But the question is that what in desperation would they have used a nuclear weapon? It's untold. That's what talking in the background. That's what they're saying. They said, if Israel because they was on their knees. Iran had them on their knees. They was really doing significant damage. They said if they thought he was about to go, and they said that's what, because they don't have a ceasefire, they have a pause. They have a ceasefire, they have a pause, which is like, you've had a fight, you sit in the corner between rounds. It's not a ceasefire, that's a pause. See what's going on here, brothers and sisters. Yeah, oh man. It's going to resume any day now, guaranteed. When it does, all bets off. Farrakhan will be gone within days. But that's what the people, they got division going over there right now, contention. That's what they're waiting for, the confirmation. I've been telling them. Right? It's no story together. I'm moving on. So, it's about to happen. Then the true sign, it's going to unite our people because they're in the same vision. Everybody's going to see God's false physical. Remember, most of our people in churches, whatever, they know about so-called Israel. They know that if they truly see Abraham, they can't be destroyed over there. The church tell them, oh, when they go down, Jesus don't come and save them last minute. But they say that's about to happen. They're going to go down under siege. America and Britain will be thrown out the Middle East, Gog and Magog. That's going to trigger Armageddon in Europe. It's also trigger hell over here because they're going to attack us. Because when false vision goes down, that means it's actually proof that that's a uniting signal there, instant. And they got to attack us. That's the last hope. They was told, let's go. Said, let my people go. Because they about to blow. Said they're going to handle 400 years of this crap. That's why you see a lot of stuff going on right now. So let me see how much further. I'm about to close out, brothers. I'm not going to get to any most I wanted to get into. But I want you to understand why things happen like they're happening. Why folks are doing desperate things. Because they know they got to get control of the Middle East. The oil wealth. They got Syria, right? But they also need to neutralize Iran because Iran, if they take all the rest of Europe, Iran can still get rid of them. The only way they can survive over there, they have to take out Iran. They're desperate to neutralize them, break them, or whatever. That's the only thing stopping them from taking everything. When they take that, control the Middle East, nuclear weapons, they can't be touched by the Europeans or America. So when they take us out, that won't affect them. If they take us out before that, they're going to let Iran loose on them. They're under protection. America will not back them and get rid of them. Because they want to get rid of them and us too. Brothers and sisters. Okay, I'll play a few of these things. I'm going to go, brothers and sisters. Because the reason I was saying it yesterday, I really wish I could have took more time because I want to take about 3 hours and really take time to explain this clearly. That's one of those days I got to start early, and then boom, one thing after another. But the point I was making here, I'm going to play some of these, right? Is that now you got two people. You got this place called Tucker Carlson. He was the shining star of Fox News. He was the most famous over there. He was the most biggest moneymaker. And then something went down, and they got sued or something. But he was the main person over there. He was the highest rated person over there. He had the highest rating and everything. And he's gone. So he got his own thing on. And then you got this other person here, and he's a Colonel McGregor or something like that there. He's an advisor to Trump and other presidents. Right? I don't think he was CIA. He was a colonel. He was a top intelligence officer. And he advised Trump, and I don't think he advised Trump anymore because he don't say nice things about him. So he's, but Tucker talks to Trump on a regular basis. This guy used to, and I don't know if he does, I don't think he does anymore based on what he's saying. So he wasn't just people that pick off the street. Now, listen to what these people are saying. Listen to what Trump is saying. Cut the chase on Trump. Trump, you see it. He said basically, we can't get niggas to pick cotton anymore. I mean, he's saying these things. I'm paraphrasing. You see it. Because I'm telling you, they're closing in on you. It says deal shrewd with them. That means so they speak more openly now. So why is it so openly now? Because they know they already got the lion's got your head in his mouth. It says it come as a snare, brother and sister. So you ain't getting this from anybody else. Because all these lies and thieves out there. So let's play a couple of them and see what happens. When I get to it, John, but I have a little technical issue here. There you go.
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Wadakuddin and I have had disagreement. But his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because in spite of our differences, there's a deep love in us. We don't like the things about our nation that is not good, but I don't want to live anywhere else. But I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't she go that way? If the men of religion and the women of religion keep silent.
See, brothers and sisters, but first of all, Wallace, open enemy to his father till the day he died. Open. Said he was a liar. Said bad. I was there between 775, so I heard these things. Actually shook his hand one time. I mean, woo. Look, I don't have cancer. That woo. Because this was a time when Messi had let him back in because he kept exiling him because he kept teaching all crazy shit he'd be teaching. And so this one time, I came to the temple and he had just let him back in. This before they got the main temple on Stony Island Avenue. And he let him back in. That was the last time he let him back in before his permit. Because I was there when he permanently banned him. He permanently banned him in, I think he let him back in 72, I think it was. 72 or 70, yeah, 72, I think. And then for about a year later, he had to finally just got rid of them all together. Somewhere around there. I mean, well, 50 years ago, brothers and sisters. So I was there when he, let him in, and I was there when he threw his ass out. And him and Farrakhan robbed the nation. That's why Farrakhan got the cancer. It says in Malachi, you robbed this nation. Who's robbed the nation? Not Master Farrakhan, not Elijah Muhammad. I was there. Him and Wallace robbed the nation. They got rid of everything. The bank, the stores, right? The restaurants, the housing complex, because I was living in the house complex. The printing press, I was a foreman at the printing press, the night foreman. So I got rid of all of it. Took all the money and power. Didn't leave us nothing. Zero. Left us with nothing. Some people homeless, some had been at prison, everything else. And he was right there. Tell him lying, Farrakhan. They robbed it. And then they announced Elijah Muhammad. We got more tape here. That's going. If I let the whole thing play, you see, they got more tape here. I got a smile, but still, they denounced the message. They denounced the Master Muhammad. Got more tape doing it. Not photoshopped. Move on to the next one, brothers and sisters. And then see here, remember how much he loved. Devils ain't devils anymore, right? I love America. I don't want to see nothing happen to America. How can America make good? I don't want to leave here. I like it here, right? And I believe America be made good. Even though the lesson says there, under lessons, Master Muhammad said they're 100% wicked and cannot be reformed. Read the lessons. They're 100% wicked and cannot be reformed. But he says, oh no, I want to see reform. Something happen to him. And you see, I showed you before, the spirit of the Messiah. He wanted to kill him, destroy him. I can't wait to do it. But no, I see. You got to hold man. This way. Now remember, that's where heads. Look where he say those that follow him, his believers. See what his attitude towards them, as opposed to the devils who supposed to be our enemy. See if he got any smiles for his own followers. See if he got any smiles for them. Let's see what he got for them.
When the Muslims were alive, I'll say it again. When the Muslims were alive, you dead as hell now on both sides.
Yes, sir, brother Minister. Yes, we are. Yes, sir. That's real, brother Minister. Both sides.
Wake us up, dear Apostle.
When we was alive, we set up schools.
That's right.
When we were alive, we had supermarkets.
That's right. That's right.
We owned buildings. We owned farmland. We were busy doing something, hiring our people. Well, I'm telling the Muslims, damn it, if you don't come alive, you will die like you are. And I will say, thank you, Allah, because if they're not doing nothing on top of the earth, let the worms eat their ass.
He ain't got no love for his followers, do he? Got love for the devils, though. I know America be made good. How can make America good? But for his followers, I pray Allah, worms eat your ass. Yeah. I guess that's Photoshop. That can't be Farrakhan, can it? That can't be Farrakhan saying that stuff. He made that up. Farrakhan, he got it backwards. Because he's really saying, how can our people be made good? I want to see what happen to our people. I love my people. How can be made great again? See? And then when it comes to devils, I hope the worm eat their ass for beating us and trust and raping us and pissing our sisters and raping our sisters for 40 years, terrorizing them, right? And hating them and raping them and all the stuff they're doing now. I hope the worms eat their ass. Oh, no, that's what it really meant, right? He talking about the devil is going to eat their ass, and we should be made good. Isn't that the way it's supposed to be? Yeah. Yeah. See, those guys head up. See, if you got your head up Pharaoh's ass, you think that shit that you see in other brown stuff is honey, then yeah. Then you think that backwards too. He pray aloud now. The worms eat your ass. But he neglected to say that he's the one that when the Muslim was alive, that he's the one that killed him. Him and Farrakhan, him and Wallace. That he got set up in there. That's openly hating his father. They're the ones that started, got rich over. He's a multi-millionaire. How did he get it? He don't have no job anyplace. Except deceiving people. You ain't no business. So they ain't putting up, steaks on his plate? So the devil told him, you got to work harder? What's the deal? He pumped the sisters because those so-called male over there that call themselves brothers, they ain't doing anything because I was over there. I know what they're doing. I wasn't following Farrakhan, but I was over there for about 6 months. They're your enemy. You couldn't get themselves. We had to sell 300 papers a week when I was there. If you, not $2.99, 300, or your ass is out of there. You had to buy them. So if you didn't sell them, then that's on you. But you had to buy 300 a week. Right? And he couldn't get the people. I see him. Hey, brother, can you do 50? Oh, man, 50. Okay. Can you do 25? Can you do 10? 10 papers a week, couldn't get him to do anything. But he got sisters out pimping the sisters out doing fundraisers so that asshole can have big rings and big steaks and all that stuff. That's why he got cursed 55. Now, if there's an enemy on the planet, if you mess around, you get cancer 55, and plus, remember, he said he's anointed, God protect him. But what happened? It was an attack. It wasn't a natural thing. Because he said, synagogue said he loved so much, he said he put overdose radiation pills up his ass and blew his ass up. So wherever God protected him, that God said, fuck away from me. That's the kind of protection you offer. All this is bullshit. Curse with a curse. Oh, it's obvious, but I said, if you got your head up his ass, keep it up there. Don't come over here. We don't waste time with you. One brown sisters. Ooh. Show me one verse that supports him. Show me one. $5,000. You can't find one.
The He's not asking us to eat his flesh, but the word that comes from my lips will give you life, will give you hope, will give you direction, will give you power for your life. I am the door. If you come by me, I can take you out of the world of Satan. And I open the door of God's kingdom to you. Isn't that beautiful? Ooh, y'all got me all fired up here. So Satan, he doesn't want you to gain access to that man that has the resurrecting, transformative power for your and my life. He doesn't want us to access that good shepherd, that true vine, that one that is the life of God among the people. So he has to do everything in his power to misrepresent That man. So the people say, he represents life, but the enemy wants to represent him as death. See, the opposite. So look at all the ugly things they said about Jesus, right? Falsely charged, lied on him. Why? So you won't access him. Look at all of the things that they say about Farrakhan. But guess what they don't say about him, which is the most important. And I have been reading all of the ugly things that they have said about my minister for 40 plus years.
Wow, that's right.
But the one thing they don't say is that Farrakhan is a liar. Want to come to the table. He's called them for a showdown for years. Well, you so bad. You got the truth. You say you're right. Well, come to the table and prove your claim against this good man. But you know you can't do that because you know that Farrakhan is telling the truth. All praise is due to Allah for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So we are living in a world today, troubled world.
Hey, brothers and sisters, give me 1 second here. Okay, brothers and sisters, you recall this? Do I need to make it a little bigger for you so you can see it? Where's that? Isn't that calling him a liar? Isn't that challenge him to prove that he's telling the truth? See, they know about this. They've been doing it for years. They're aware of me because I've been over there. They're aware of me. So he's lying right there. And he ain't going to do a showdown because he can get five. Not only if what he's saying is true, he can prove that in 5 seconds, right? And get $5,000 and shut me down. He said, no one. So remember, he's not saying I'm lying. He's lying right there because he says no one. So he don't even want to. Remember, he knows I'm doing it. So if he said, well, we challenged him, he don't want to come forward. He said, no one's come forward. Well, that's a lie right there. That shows right there, right, that they're lying. And I'm calling a lie. See? That shows that they can't prove what they're saying. That's what that proves. They can't prove the shit they're saying. It's out there. And no one stepped forward yet in years. Go out of my presentations. I stopped doing it for about a few months. But they're out there. It's been years. No one's called me a liar. No one's challenging them. What's that? One, brothers and sisters. Anybody can step forward and get it. Send me nasty grams of nasty ass comments. Then you step forward and get your $5,000 and shut me up. You got some nasty comments. Step forward. Don't hide in the bushes. Call me names. Step forward. Because you can't. I've been down this road already, boss. Since I'm going home. Been down this road already.
We don't like the things of that our fathers wanted to.
Now, you don't hear my word. We ain't trying to convince you. If your hair's up Farrakhan's ass, you think that brown shit's honey, stay over there. We're trying to convince you. We're trying to, people have eyes, right? But see, if your eyes are open, but there's no light off, you might as well be blind. You can't see. Some little people got their eyes open, looking for light. Not those people got their eyes, don't have any eyes, or they got their eyes shut. When the light comes on, they still keep it shut. No, we don't want you. You keep over to Farrakhan. So let me play this, brothers and sisters. This is what Elijah Muhammad had to say about this. About loving America, wanting to be with America. That was going to be made. See what he had to say about it.
Almighty God, Allah taught us that our fathers wanted to go back to their people when they was put off on the shores of North America. And the ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero, they stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, wanting to return, with their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus.
This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we're on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You and I, turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel? Acting so. And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment, condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you were free. Remember that.
Okay, brothers and sisters, who's lying there? Elijah Muhammad said, fools want to stay here. Farrakhan said, he don't want to leave here. He wants to stay here. Right? And he said, Elijah Muhammad said, you fools. He said, your ancestors will call you fools. Wanting to stay here, not wanting to go back to your own country. So he said he's representing Elijah Muhammad, right? So what happened? Elijah Muhammad was on crack or something, he had a U-turn? And this is L. Ron Hubbard on the right. That's who they worship. Go over there, find out. That's what I talk about. It's L. Ron Hubbard, engrams, all that kind of stuff. I was going to tell you. They have like a group phone call thing. You get on there, L. Ron Hubbard. I said, what about like? Mute me. Fact. Okay, brothers and sisters, I'm going to leave it there. I said, it was too much trouble today. I had a lot to talk about. Hopefully, everything's set up so maybe don't have any significant technical difficulties. I'll be able to cover everything tomorrow. But I got to the basics. When you understand why, because see, they can't, nothing makes any sense. Why is False doing this? Why is it? And then when you understand, you put us in the center. It's all about us. It's all about you. All about you. That's why I'm going to let you know who Joshua is and all that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about that. Maybe later on today or tomorrow. So let me close out, brothers and sisters. Can't do anything, like I said, hours of technical issues. You hear? This is I come to send fire on the earth. And I wish it was kindled already. have it baptized, and I'm right. He says he's in distress until it be accomplished. His word straightened. That sound like Farrakhan? Oh, he came to kick your ass. But remember, this is the Messiah talking. When you read yourself, this is the Messiah talking. But that don't sound like Farrakhan, though. He says Messiah. Well, you got schizophrenic? I'll leave it there, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum. History of the cross, known by their works. What's the history of the cross? 500-year history of the cross. Murder, rape, destruction, deception, enslavement, burning, terrorizing. To maintain a slavery system, you must terrorize the people 24/7. They terrorized people from Africa and America for 400 years. Constant terror, 24/7, rape, murder. In the name of Jesus. This was Christians, not Buddhists, not Hindus. Christians, in the name of Jesus, when they said Jesus cursed black people, they call them Ham, cursed them to be slaves and persecuted forever. In the name of Jesus, raped our women incessantly, pissed in our mouths, made us eat shit. And they took and tried to clean up, not clean it up, but make it look more fashionable, I guess, by calling it chitlins. That's after slavery, of course, after so-called slavery. Because what was endured was not slavery. Look up slavery. Look up slavery. It does include murder, rape, terror. This is a Holocaust. And then now they try to downplay it. Oh, that was 400 years ago. No, it wasn't 40 years ago. I don't care if it was a million years ago. It was 40 years ago. It lasts for 400 years. And it's enduring today. They took everything away from the slaves. Everything. Their name, their culture, their families, their religion, their minds, everything. Fed their children to alligators as alligator bait. And then they talk about what's going on in Gaza when they did 1,000 times worse. What's going over in Gaza now is simply just a miniature version of what they did. What they did was far worse than what's going on in Gaza. Gaza's bad. It's genocide. What they did was far worse and much longer. That's the legacy of Christianity. Murder, rape, disease. They wiped out the native population with genocide and disease. Smallpox blankets, knowing they was full with disease. Herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea from sleeping animals. So-called common cold was not common. It didn't exist here on this side of the world until they brought it here. Murder, rape. When they was raping out women, they had a cross hanging from their neck. And again, they taught black, and this was God's will. God's will. The enslavement of our people. And they continue on even today. That's the legacy of Christianity, the cross. So where's your rap sheet? Every time they arrest one of our people, your rap sheet. What's your rap sheet? How you going to judge people for murder when you're guilty of murder beyond imagination for hundreds of years? Hundreds of years. Theft. You stole this land and murdered its people. And you crushed the native people here. When the braves would go out hunting, you would come into the camps like cowards and kill the women and smash the children's brains out on the hooves of your horses. This is the legacy of Christianity. That's the legacy of it. The question is, if instead of Columbus coming here, Dracula came here, Beelzebub, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Satan, and they all came instead of Columbus, what could they have done that Columbus and those that followed him did? Satan is the God of this world. That's the God they're serving. They have known him by their works. What are the works of Christianity? What are the works of Christianity? Where's the works of Christianity? Evil, deception, mischief, bloodshedding. It goes on today. And what's going on in Gaza, just reflection and microcosm of what was done here in America for hundreds of years. Raped out women incessantly. They would even rape while they was out in the fields picking cotton. They would jump off their horse and tell them to bend over and rape them. And tell them to keep picking cotton while they was doing it. This is the kind of stuff that they would do. Make one slave defecate in the slave and slave in the mouth of another slave, and then bound it up so they couldn't spit it out for 7 days. That's a legacy of slavery. You did it all in the name of Jesus. That's a legacy of slavery. Legacy of slavery. 40 years plus. Legacy of Christianity. Legacy of the cross. That's the legacy. That's the true legacy. So whose works are those? Who are you serving? Who are you serving? The legacy of the cross. Where's your rap sheet, America? Gog? Where's your rap sheet, Magog? Britain? Where's your mateship? Where's your rap sheet? Antichrist, false Israel? What's your rap sheet? Then they colonized Africa. They're stealing for ripping off everyone. That's the legacy of Christianity. They've been ruling for over 500 years. And now, the threat of nuclear war to finish off everything. That's a legacy of Christianity in the name of your Jesus.
talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. The heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Put it back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And this ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, wanting to return. With their hands stretched out towards that ship and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to to their will. You are now turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you were free. Remember that.
you ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. What the heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Put it back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And this ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, wanting to return. With their hands stretched out towards that ship and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You are now turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why is it that you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you are free. Remember that.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant. Okay, brothers and sisters, it's been a year now, and We're finally home after 40 years in Arabia. I'm reporting to you from Arabia. Finally home after 40 years. Right? And so we've been here a year now. And there was an agreement made. A former slave master, he said, we had a choice. Stay here or leave. Right? So we chose our inheritance, Arabia. So we left. And half the original people decided they wanted to give up their inheritance and traded for a place in America in reconciliation with their former slave master. That's their choice. They chose, said, we don't want to go over to Arabia. We don't go over there where it's sand and all that stuff. We want to stay here in America. We've been here all our lives, been here 40 years, born here, right? And we can make peace with our slave master. Okay, so they decided to stay. And so after a year, right, we're getting reports of how things are going over there. And it doesn't sound too good. How things are going over in America with their reparations. Because they was given, they got 6 states, I believe. Yeah, see? Yeah. Yeah, they got those 6 states right there. That's what Farrakhan told them. You know, they was listening to Farrakhan. Farrakhan promised them, you know, they stay there, 6 states, right? Had their own land. And they can make reconciliation with the former slave master. They're not devils. They're not devils. They're human beings. They just had a rough, you know, they were just, you know, did some things wrong, but now they, you know, they're gonna make amends and make reparations. So 6 states, and in addition to that, they gave everybody $1 million. Everybody stayed $1 million. Okay? Say, thank you, Farrakhan. They're so happy. Thank you, Farrakhan. Thank you, Farrakhan. Man, you got 6 states. That's what you promised us. We got 6 states. They're thanking you. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? And you know, I mean, this was a year ago. They got the 6 states. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? Everybody got $1 million. Everybody $1 million. And they're rejoicing. Oh man, they're so happy. Hey, we came here. We made it. We got America, man. We got reconciliation for a master. We got 6 states. Everybody got $1 million. We're all rich. That was a year ago when we left. Okay, so we're in Arabia. They're still back there in America. And now we're getting reports a year later. This was the way it was a year ago, man. They were so happy. They were so happy. Right? And now we get reports of what's going on right now. Let's see. Oops, it says a power failure. Great power failure in those 6 states. Power failure. And it's just those 6 states. Right? So, and now they had a big and massive, they came asking to turn the power. Well, why can't they do it? Oh, Farrakhan didn't train anybody. He was telling you about 6 states, he never prepared you for them. So nobody knows how to do it. How to turn the power grid back on. So now he's begging, man, master, can you come and turn this thing back on for us? I mean, you would think that if he told him 6 states to promise him that he would have prepared him for it, right? Their schools and education, whatever they needed for that. But now I guess they didn't, because they said over there now he's begging the former master to come and turn the power back on. And then what? I mean, this is all that's happening now. I mean, I'm getting these imports in now. A year later, it's like they're coming in every hour. Power grid failure, right? Then say, oops, crop failure. All of a sudden, there's no. They looked at the farmers wasn't ain't doing it. Farmers said, oh. So then they had master, what's happening here? How come no, right? Our crop. They found that the land they gave them wasn't that fertile. A year later, nothing's growing. Crop failure. And now they master, what's happening here? Right? And then, I mean, all these things, every hour that's coming in, right? And then they look, and they had, a year ago they had plenty of food on the shelves, right? And now, they look there now and all the food's gone. It's gone. She said, what am I going to do here? Food's gone. The house is empty. So he said, Master, we need some food. Well, how come you can't produce your own food? I mean, you want your own country. You got your own states. That's your country. Then you run it. What are you calling us for? Right? So they're praying. And then, oops, no fuel. There's master, no fuel there. Well, you got to buy your fuel. You got to produce your own fuel. What you calling us for? You got your own 6 states now. What you calling us for? Go and get some fuel. You got money, right? You got your own states. So you got to get your own. What you calling us for? You said you wanted your own, so now you got it. And you got your reparations, so we don't owe you anything anymore. We don't owe you anything anymore, so what you calling us for? We don't owe you anything. You said you agreed to 6 states and $1 million per person. You took that instead of your inheritance, what you call the Abrahamic covenant, Arabia. Your brothers and sisters, they left. They took that was offered to them. They took it, and you said no. I want this instead. So now you got it. So what you calling us for? Oh, no communications. Oh man. No communications, right? No medical facilities. So what's going on, Master? Wait a minute, hold on. That's you. What you calling us for? That's yours. You gotta handle that stuff. You want us to handle it for you? You want independence, now you have it. I mean, wow, this stuff was coming every hour, man. Instead of like a year, they was celebrating. And now they crying and begging the master, hey, we got all these problems here. I said, wait a minute, that's yours. Where you come about your problems? You have to work those out. Right? No transportation, I mean, no planes, or nowhere. We learned about fly the planes and drive the trucks and the boats and stuff, and to go and get this stuff. Well, what you done that for? You wanted this, you got it. So go ahead and get to train your own pilots, build your own planes, build your own boats, and right? You see what I'm saying? Transportation, build your own trucks. What you calling for? Yeah, Master, we see this. You said you wanted 6 states, you got it. You want $1 million per person. That was your reparations. So now if you didn't prepare people to take care of this, how's that our problem? You're independent now. You're really free now. Oops, no fuel, the gas station's empty. I can't drive, man. And no gas. Man, wow. All this stuff happened like for a year. They thought that everything was great, and all of a sudden everything ran out. So I guess what happened? Everything was there when they got it, and then it ran out. They had to, for them to replace the fuel, to get the farms going. So they was left with that stuff. the factory was full. I mean, warehouses full. Then you had to keep. They thought that was just going. I guess they thought it was just going to be there, just by itself. They didn't prepare for it. See, and they ain't trained any engineers and scientists and architects and stuff. They business. They didn't train anybody. So Farrakhan, he told you he's going to get this for you, but he didn't prepare you for it. He didn't get anybody to handle this stuff. So what was that all about? So now he asked the master, hey, don't call on me. You was here, you had it when you was here with me. You said you want independence, you wanted reparations, so you gave it to you. Well, call on your brothers over there. They left, they handled their own business. You said you want to stay here. Right? See? You don't have any professionals or technicians, scientists, doctors, none of that. See? I mean, that's what, because I mean, if you're going to set reparation, you should be preparing for that, right? So if he was telling you about reparation, you should be preparing for it. If he said God said that's where you're going to get you, so if God told him he's going to get that for you, then he should, like when God told Noah there was a flood coming, to only build an ark, so he started building an ark. And so you should start preparing for the 6 states and the reparations, but apparently you didn't. And so now, he tells you, look, hold it. We want total separation. Look, we don't want you to call us no more. We don't want you to call us no more. Because you're wearing us. You want your own country. You got your own land. Right? You got money, $1,000,000, all this stuff, right? And so now we got to protect your money and everything too? No, you have to create your own money. You have to do all these things, your own wealth, not ours. Right? So we're going to cut you off from that too. That's all economics. So they go and tell it. They tell all the people all the white folks, right? Because all the black folks, now all the black folks is either in Arabia or in those 6 states. That's the solution. You had to be one way or the other. There couldn't be no integration, that kind of stuff. That's the deal. You just said one or the other. So all the black folks are there. Ain't no integration, that kind of stuff, right? Black folks are there, one or the other. So they're there. So he said, okay, right? So they just say, we're going to take our money because we don't know what y'all doing over there. You have your own money. You have your own wealth. So what they do is they tell all the white folks, say, protect your money, right? Transfer your money into gold. Just all your dollars into gold. Right? Now remember, they gave everybody $1 million a piece. So everybody got $1 million a piece, right? And so they transfer it to gold. And then what happens is that what they do is they start just printing money. White folks just start printing money. You understand what that means? That's inflation. Right? Because if you got $1 million of gold, a million ounces of gold, say 1,000,000 ounces of gold, understand this, and you got 1,000,000 certificates, then you say each certificate is worth 1 ounce. If you got 1,000,000 ounces, each certificate is worth 1 ounce. Understand that? If you got 1,000,000 ounces of gold, and you got 1,000,000 certificates, each one of those certificates is worth 1 million. If you want to say trade with the certificates, each one of the certificates is worth 1 ounce of gold. Right? But if you take and print, you say you got 1,000,000 ounces of gold, and you got 1,000,000 certificates, each one. But say you print twice as many certificates, you got 2 million. Well, then each certificate is only worth 50 cents now, because you got to connect that to the gold. Well, you print 4 times, then each one is worth a quarter. So the more you print, the less they worth, because those certificates has to equal what the gold is. You understand? So the more you print money, the less, right? The less they're worth. So if you print twice as much money, right, there's less gold. You understand? So a dollar is worth an ounce of gold, which that's right. Then if you print double that amount of dollars, then each one's worth half an ounce. You understand? That's what printing money without increasing their wealth does. That's inflation. So what happens is they keep printing. They get down to where $100 is worth a penny. But see, that doesn't affect their people. They try to protect their money because they transfer their money to gold. So gold still has its value. It's just the dollars don't. It still got the same amount of gold. But the dollars, they get down to a penny. So you can't buy it. You had $1 million, now your $1 million worth of $5. That's all it's worth. $1 hardly worth anything. What about you? Hey, that's our money. You gotta have your own money, you control your own wealth. You can't keep coming at us what you're doing. And you think they wouldn't do that? Yeah, you've been a Gaza lately? You see what happened to the trees they made with the so-called natives? Kept telling me you had a forked tongue because they kept making trees with them, then they broke the trees. And took their land and genocide and everything else. But no, they wouldn't do that to you. See? Because now you have, your money's worth nothing. They haven't lost anything. Because once that money's worthless, it's no good, right? Then you bury it up, throw it away, it's worth nothing. The people still got gold. And even if they take it, hold on to money, hope to increase again, they're just using another different certificate, using another form of money. So it's still worth nothing. That $1 million you had, you was so happy with now, it's probably worth maybe $1. So you can't buy anything with $1. Plus the economy's collapse because everything is failing, and you don't know how to repair it. You don't know how to build communications. You don't know how to do any of this stuff. You're not an engineer, build a house. You don't know how to do anything because Farrakhan didn't. Right? He didn't prepare you. He told you he'll give you 6 days. He told you, listen to me, right? So now you're broke, and your economy is gone. You have no food, no electricity, no power, anything, right? It's not their fault. They gave you what you asked for. You still had your inheritance for that. And then they closed the border. Because you want to try to get back into America now. We want to come back in, Master. No, we don't want you back in here. We sorry, we want to come in. No. That's what you chose. You stay there. They closed the border, so you can't get back in here. You can't get back in America, into what you could call your land now. Swaziland or something? Farrakhan. Maybe call it travel land. Farrakhan. Named after Farrakhan. Right? So they close the borders, you can't. Because now you're hungry and everything else, your money's worthless. Oh God, come back, Master, I'll come back work for you, I'll work for Popeyes, I'll do anything you want. No, remember, now blacks, either they over in Arabia or they in that land. There are no blacks in America, any places, just in that land that you 6 states. And now you're starving, you ain't got your money's worthless, nothing works, and they close the border. Right? And then you see Master, he on the phone, you talking to the guy that you kept treating, help you. Hey, we finally got rid of niggas. Finally got rid of them. See on the phone. Yeah, it worked. We sold them no reparations. We sold them that used car. You turned the miles back and everything else, and they bought it. See? They could have had a BMW. They could have had a Lamborghini. They sold it for a BMW that looked good. Damn thing didn't work. And now they're starving, living in tents. Praying. So what? Then what next? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? You told us to take reparations, so we did. But they gave us everything we asked for. What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do? Pray. That's his answer. Pray. That's your reparations. Like Elijah Muhammad said, he had a big picture. We leaving, and blacks staying on the shore, the ones stay behind, and they was whooping their ass. Right? Because they all thought you think they want to give you some land and take care of you? You think they want to do that? And go bankrupt, give everybody $1 million? How much that is? If it's 17 million, that's 17 million times 17 million times a million is like $17 trillion, I think, something like that there. Then they're gonna do all that for you. They want to get rid of you. So now they have succeeded. Because they closed the border, and what you gonna do? You gonna fight to come out? They closed the border. They got the military around there. They finally got rid of you. No more black problem, no more Negro problem anymore. One group's out of here, another group that's here. They're gone, and our hands are clean. We gave them what they wanted. Well, anything. Okay. God honors contracts. Remember, he honored the contract with Jacob. Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of soup to Jacob, which was Esau's inheritance, and God honored it. Okay, Jacob, it's yours. You're the one. And that's the deal. Because he ain't your friend. Farrakhan ain't your friend. Pray, pray, pray. That's the answer. And this homeland you was promised, you rejected it. So now you got what you asked for. So if they gave you reparations today or tomorrow, how would that scenario not play out like that? Well, they say, okay, you got it. Tell me how the scenario wouldn't play out like that. And tell me why they wouldn't do it. They love you so much, they're going to say, okay, we're going to take care of them. I mean, why should they go out their way to take care of you when you was right here? You was working at Popeyes and then they get up on Section 8, all that stuff right here, because they're trying to get rid of that stuff right now. Trump's trying to get rid of all that stuff right now. Because they're closing on you don't realize it. Anyway, that's just, that's what's happening over in America. Wow. Boys come here. Disaster over there. And, I just got a call. Oh, wait, hold on. Really? You serious? Our ambassador just got a call from I don't know what they call it Conland or something. I forgot what it's something they call it right there. That 6th day. They begged us to come and help. Can they come over here? Can we come and get them? Really? Can we come and get them and bring them? Oh no. Now he went and asked Master Farrakhan Muhammad, right? He said, no, hell no. We ain't going to get them. And I agree with that. Yeah, the bastard said he said, let's call him, and he passed the word to Master Farrakhan Muhammad. Master Farrakhan said, send him back. Master, no, we can't come and get you. You made your choice, live with it. Or die, whatever the situation is. Wow. I can't believe that. They actually, right, sent a message over. I don't know how they did. I don't have any communication with it. Somehow they got the information over to him. Said, we please come and get him. Nope. Said, no, tell him no. And don't waste time communicating with us anymore. You got your land. You got your reparations. You got your money. You got Farrakhan as your leader. Yeah, tell him. Talk to him. Let him straighten out for you. He didn't want to sell you the idea. He was a salesman. So you on that idea of reparations. We told you. Right? Suleiman, right? He was the messenger to you, telling you, look, man, let's go home. You said no. You chose not to. Okay, brothers and sisters, that's a sad story. But I guess that's it. Is that it? Oh, they're not getting more reports on Okay, he says that was Matthew Farrakhan Muhammad's final decision, and I think they closed communications off from there. So, like I said, brothers and sisters, we got those. Wow, they came in. All that came in today, man. Came in fast. After a whole year, total collapse. Now they begging it. Somebody help them. We can't do it. Maybe Master help you. We won't do it. Assalamu alaikum. Update, brothers and sisters, got another late report in that they said, well, if you want to come and get us, well, we at least send them some food. They begged, said, please send us some food. Master Muhammad said, we got to send them a damn thing, nothing, zero. He said, please just send us some food. No, I just got that in. He says, if you can't come and get us, please send us some food. He says, no, he refused. I said, boy, I just got the information from the ambassador. He said, they sent that, and he's read it to me. He says, no. He said, please, just please send us some food. I said, no way. You made your choice, case closed. Okay, just got that in, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.